This game is a JRPG
All right.
written by an 8th grade goth.
Okay.
Welcome to New Game Plus. This is a retro gaming podcast where three guys spend 7 days playing one old game and then we talk about it. My name's Dustin.
My name is Kenny.
Nolan?
And this is episode 499.
Why do you say
That's so weird to say.
Why would I say it any other way? We are one episode away from our 10th anniversary. We started calling it anniversary early, which is not incorrect. Should we have said birthday?
No.
No, that's annoying.
Oh, okay.
People have birthdays. Not
Yep.
things.
They do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Podcasts have anniversaries.
Yeah.
So the time has arrived. We are, just a few days away from episode 500. We've got a lot of things planned for that very special episode. You, our dear listener, are going to be a part of that. These past few weeks, we've actually been doing some fun things for our NGP community. We've done a steep 50% Patreon discount that is still available right now at the release of this episode.
Huge.
We are hosting a Switch 2 giveaway, and there have been thousands upon thousands upon thousands of entries for that Switch 2, and we can't wait to draw that and announce the winner and send you your new Switch 2.
You just made them lose all hope that they were going to win it when you said it
Oh.
like that.
Yeah,
There's
everybody
been-
thought
It's only been
there's
100.
like 52 people who entered.
Yeah.
And then call-ins. So we started to receive call-ins from our listeners to feature those brief little clips from our community on episode 500. If you have tried calling from outside of the country, I've heard some of this has been an issue, and you weren't able to get through, I don't know,
Right.
maybe Google Voice doesn't work with you and your country, then record a little clip on your computer, on your phone or whatever, and send the MP3 either to us via ngppodcast@gmail.com or send it directly to me if you're in our Discord, and I'll make sure they get to our editors so they can make it to the episode
Yeah.
proper. And then last week, we announced a special 2-week Patreon pool to kick off Season 10. At the end of this episode, we'll be randomly selecting from your Patreon pool submissions, and we can't wait.
Love that.
And today, we invite you to send in a very special commentary. So there is going to be a segment of next week's episode where we share our favorite moments from NGP's history. The three of us have made a top 10 list, and so we're sharing a lot of these you as a community have never heard before. So it will be our first time sharing them with you. They are some
A little behind the
good,
scenes.
funny behind-the-scenes type stories. We want to hear yours. So instead of sending in your commentary on a retro game of the week this week, send us your favorite moments from our 10-year history. Same locations as always, ngppodcast@gmail.com or in our commentary channel in Discord, and we'd love to feature your thoughts as a part of our episode next week.
Somebody's
now-
is going to be about Kenny's takeover episode. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
I mean, I remember.
We also
it.
did a pizza party. Some people in
same
our
week.
community want a pizza party, and we
We
sent them
sent-
pizza.
We sent them a Domino's because we played a
Oh,
Ninja Turtles
was it Ninja
game.
Turtles?
Yeah.
Thematic. We're good at stuff.
So good, but spoilers.
Spoilers.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
Tune in next week. For now, question of the week. What game from NGP's catalog shocked you the most? And if Kenny, you have an electric joke, go ahead and get it out of the way.
No, there are some meta jokes about Twitch-related things right now, but nobody cares, and those communities don't have crossover, so we won't make them. Usually, questions like this are hard for me. This was not a hard one. I immediately came up with an answer.
Wow.
Yeah. In a good way, not any bad way, this game shocked me the most. Typing of the Dead.
Yeah, I thought about that one as well.
It was absolutely a real, just WTF, but this is great kind of moment. Like nothing else, doesn't make sense that it would be good, was so good and so fun, and yeah, completely shocked me. Out of left field.
I forgot to send you guys pictures when I was gone, but I went to a game store and saw a copy of that, Kenny.
Oh,
An
yeah?
original copy of
Oh, that's
Typing of
fun.
the Dead. Yeah.
That's really cool. In Japanese?
Yeah, it was called something else, I think. But I recognized the freaking, harness keyboards that
Yeah,
they use
so
in the
good.
game.
Oh, man.
It's hilarious. The
Ridiculous.
game's so good. Yeah.
Okay, I thought of a few. Like, one that shocked me in a good way was recently Baroque, that game that we played that was like the tower
Yeah.
climbing or tower descending. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Just weird game, but I kind of loved it. So good.
Grotesque.
Shadow of the Colossus is the only game that we played to make it into my top 10. So that another thing that has shocked me is how often we bring up Mary Kate and Ashley Magical Mystery Mall on the podcast.
I
me and
talk
Nolan?
about that game in real life. I talked to somebody about it last week.
I'm pretty sure it's mostly Dustin.
But my real submission is it's a few games, and it's that I'm shocked that there is not a single good vehicular combat game. We have played now
not
a
one.
number of them. Vigilante 8, Vigilante 8 Second Offense, Cell
Twisted
Damage,
Metal.
Scars. I don't think we played Twisted Metal.
At a couch co-op we did. Thanks.
Not on the podcast. It's not in
I've
our
experience
catalog.
with it. I've experience with it.
Every single one of them, garbage.
Trash.
There's
Like, not even
an
close to good.
argument for Simpsons Hit and Run, but that's not really vehicular combat.
No, that's
Yeah.
more of
And there's-
a Crazy Taxi.
Yeah,
clone than
and
it is
Crazy Taxi
yeah.
is a different thing.
Yeah.
It is. So that's what shocked me most, Nolan.
Y'all forgot about mine, but it's really good. It's on the DS, which is fun because we haven't played too many, and
Right,
there's
so
a
I for
ton
sure
of.
remember it.
You probably do. Retro Game Challenge.
And of course.
Doesn't
Yeah,
shock
that
me at all.
game. That game looks awful. The cover art looks like a bloatware kind of game, and you're just like, all
Yep.
right, what is this? And we found out that it is based on a Japanese TV series. It was awesome. It was really, really good. Really well done. It had in-game like manuals. It was a love letter to retro
Yeah.
games,
Oh,
which
yeah.
makes sense for the podcast. And I genuinely enjoyed like playing all of the games in that game.
What shocked me most about that game is that it had the different genres, and one of them was the JRPG, and I think it's like a 30-hour JRPG in there. Like
It's kind of like a
full,
solid little game.
robust
Yeah.
game. You can share with us the game from our catalog that shocked you the most in our Discord. You can interact with us in all the ways on our socials while you're there, especially on Patreon, so that we can continue to bring home the bacon. Like in our retro game of the week, Shadow Hearts.
Overview.
Shadow Hearts was developed for the PlayStation 2 by Saknoth. It was published in 2001 in Japan and North America, and in 2002 for Europe by Aruz SNK and Midway Games, respectively. 2001 on the PS2 was, just to name a couple, Final Fantasy
Already know.
X,
Yep.
Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, Devil May Cry, and that's just 3 big ones. There were tons of big games that came out. You might even have more.
Well, I mean, Final Fantasy X is the reason nobody
Yeah.
knows about this game.
That's fair to say. I think that's a good point. Final Fantasy X is still one of the biggest in the series, and new console, and it was crazy. But this is an RPG that came out that year that actually has roots in a game that we're familiar with on the podcast called Koudelka. Do you guys remember Koudelka?
Vaguely.
I
No,
remember
no.
it by name, but
Right.
remember nothing about
Same.
it.
If you asked me,
Well-
have you played Koudelka? I'd be like, absolutely we have.
Yes.
And if you told me, tell me what it's about, I would have been like,
Yeah.
well, we played it on our podcast. Go listen to the episode.
I think I could have said that it was like horror. I probably could have gotten there,
Yeah,
or at least
it's-
horror vibes. But we
Yes.
played this for episode 198. This was over 6 years ago.
Was it a guest? What?
It was a
Maybe
guess.
Patreon-
16-bit,
it was a guess,
18-bit, 12-bit, dad or
8
something.
8-bit. Yeah. Okay, so Koudelka is this like PlayStation 1 RPG, I think, And I should have looked. I mean, we played it. I forgot everything. It is like a Silent Hill type of vibe. Very dark setting. Weird battle system. I do remember the combat being so weird. Shadow Hearts is, believe it or not, a sequel to that game, which I'm skeptical of. Is it a true sequel or is it a spiritual successor?
It's, from everything that I understand, it's a true sequel, but it's interesting because like they say that it is a true sequel to, or that
Some
it
of the
serves as
same
a sequel
characters.
to Koudelka. Yes, some of the same characters, like even the villain Bacon, I think was in Koudelka, but these 3 games are like its own series. Sorry, these 3, Shadow Hearts and the 2 games.
Yeah,
that
there's
came
2
after
others.
it are in the Shadow Hearts series. So Koudelka is not in the Shadow Hearts series,
That's
but
why
Shadow
I don't
Hearts,
like to call it a sequel. But.
Right, it is weird. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Well, it is a sequel to Koudelka. We don't remember it, so that doesn't help us. Yeah, go ahead.
So the director is different. So the director that did Koudelka, I don't know if he got kicked out, fired, or whatever. Koudelka didn't sell like they wanted it to, and so but they tried to revive it here with Shadow Hearts. And I looked into the new director for the series as it was going, Matsuzo Machida. He directed this project. He was the art director for Koudelka, so he had a relationship with the series, with the franchise, with the game. But listen to what else he did. He was the field graphic designer for a game called Chrono Trigger, and he was one of the background designers, which we'll talk about later, for Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How are you going to work on all those games? That's crazy.
Yeah, this guy has been around and knows what he's doing.
And I feel like this is just me making stuff up, but I've always assumed people that work for Square Enix or on Square Enix games kind of stay there. Like, they don't, like, hop around. I mean, this was Saknoth. I've never heard of Saknoth games. But, yeah, that's interesting. The story here is in 1913. It's an alternate reality, but it is interesting that an RPG, especially a Japanese RPG, would take place in a semi-real world setting. The game opens with a literal magician named Bacon committing mass murder on a train as he tries to get to a helpless and scared Alice, whose missionary father just passed away, and she's special, apparently. Suddenly, a rude hero shows up and stops him for the moment. That hero turns out to be the main protagonist of this game, Yuri. Now, Yuri can fuse with demons to fight bad guys, so that's kind of cool. And also satanic. 2001, banned out of my household.
Oh, for sure. This and
Get out.
Pokemon, no go.
No Pokemon. I could do a whole podcast on like why
Things
I couldn't
you
play
weren't allowed
Pokemon.
to.
Yeah, but I was like, my parents were like, we don't like that, and I still could play it. You go across China, Europe, going through turn-based combat and uncovering more and more mysteries about Alice and about her father and who her father was. And I'm sure playing Koudelka would help with that. So my bad.
And again, you probably kill God at the end. It's just one of those
Absolutely.
kind of...
Yeah. NGP is basically a book club, but instead of boring old books, we play retro video games. And it would be impossible without you, our community. Every week, we hang out in Discord with you, and we talk about new and old video games. Discord is the hub for all things NGP. In Discord, you can talk about the game of the week that we're playing for the podcast. You can talk about retro finds that you find at the gaming store. Or you can talk about hobbies, if anyone even has those. All you have to do to get involved in the community is go to discord.gg/newgameplus and get plugged in with our ever-growing community of retro gamers. We'll see you there.
Gameplay.
This game is a JRPG.
What that means?
That's it. That's my whole entire statement.
Yeah, but it's got some different things too. I think the horror, Lovecraftian elements
Sure, I'm
sets it
sorry.
apart from
Let me
the
amend.
traditional. Okay.
This game is a JRPG
All right.
written by an 8th grade goth.
Okay. No more slander. All right. This is peak humanity, 2001 in all regards, including including the writing in RPG games. Okay. Don't make fun of it
Okay.
anymore.
Yeah. This game is peak humanity, all right. Come
I will
on.
just say the game that came out the same year, Final Fantasy X, and this game, Shadow Hearts, have very different vibes, all through and through. I'm talking about
Yes.
the characters, I'm talking about the tone, I'm talking about the enemies you face. There are so many things that set these two games apart. Let's just start the intro sequence, which was wild. Like, it had the 3 T's that you need in every good JRPG.
Totally.
So that's an adjective.
Tactical.
Time travel,
All right. I could just tell y'all.
turn based,
Yeah.
Here we go.
That is one of them.
tactile.
turn
You
ba-
can really feel it.
Let me know when y'all are ready.
Teenager. And
Tomato.
yeah.
We're good.
All right, then I don't even have to list them if y'all got
We
them.
got him.
We got
right.
him.
Turn-based battles, top hats, and trains. You've got
Top
all 3
hats.
of those in this game.
Well, the
And-
train, yeah, I'll give that to you. What did I say in my first play? Okay, this is very Final Fantasy VII coded.
Just because of the train.
Just 'cause of-
running
Yeah,
in
the
yeah.
town.
train intro sequence, yes.
Yeah. And you kind of set it up in the overview, Nolan, but you get the tone and everything here within these cutscenes, and it's interspersed between like in-engine and FMVs and all of these other things, epic music playing, like when Alice is knocked out and hovers up. Like there's some pretty
Yeah.
cool like anime-esque, it's not anime, but anime-esque moments here. Like
Yeah.
a guy's arm gets ripped off and then he reaches down and picks it up and fuses it back on his body.
That's crazy.
reattaches
That's probably
it.
the most bonkers part.
Bacon's face gets punched in and then it kind of morphs back into place. This intro sequence is absolutely wild.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. You've got bullets being shot and interdimensional like demon portals
Demons?
stopping them in real time. So it's got
Yeah.
a little bit of a Matrixy vibe there. You've got people reaching through and pulling out a heartless, a shadowless. What do they call them in the
Not Kingdom Hearts.
in Kingdom Hearts?
That's
I
Kingdom
know.
Hearts.
Which this game is like Kingdom Hearts for depressed people.
Ooh.
It is. Yeah, there just were some wacky moments.
However, it is JRPG in the sense that you are the setup. You are in various environments and you're walking around the screen interacting with chests to get new items that you can equip. You're getting into turn-based battles, and we'll have to talk extensively about that because it's got its own twist and flair here. You don't have an overworld, but you do have a map that can take you to different locations and fast travel. But you're really just going and forwarding the story. You have characters that are talking, dialoguing to kind of just expand the story. It's a lot of story because it's a JRPG, and in between you're doing turn-based battles, you're solving light puzzles, and you're traveling from screen to screen. That's the traditional JRPG formula.
Yeah, and I don't think it's any different than the other RPGs that you know and are familiar with. Like, I mean, yeah, it's crazy, but so are those games. Those
Yeah.
games are also crazy.
Sure.
It just feels weird because it's not Final Fantasy, because it's not the ones you've heard of. Did y'all hear of Shadow Hearts? Did you know about Shadow Hearts? I
Just
didn't.
No.
Just through the New Game Plus podcast community, but
Just
no,
from
I
like
didn't.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's always on like lists that I see that are like I don't know, underrated or overlooked RPGs on the PS2. And so I vaguely heard of it, but I mean, yeah, it's the same fare for this time that you're getting for this genre. So it doesn't feel all that foreign in my opinion.
I think the thing that makes it a little bit more foreign that maybe Kenny is like speaking to is just the tone. And it's not just the tone of the like dreary drab, and it's not just the monsters, but even the characterizations. Like Yuri, the rude hero, is a very rude hero at first, and like creep and like immediately will cause someone in 2025 to be like,
Absolutely.
well, this is a terrible human.
Yeah,
Or,
should be
I don't know,
should be canceled. They
This is a
literally
rude hero.
wouldn't write this hero in this same way. The whole point, but like I don't know fully if it ever gets there, but that he's this very like conflicted person and sort of to some degree that like fighting his own demons kind of is the whole shtick with his character. But I mean that we'll talk about that a little bit because that's its own mechanic, even really to some degree on a couple of levels. But yeah, the things that come out of his mouth in the first 5 minutes of the game, not even the visuals and the blood and the gore and the occult and the weird satanic.
What's wrong?
He belongs on 3 different lists and probably in prison.
The things he says to Yuri, or sorry, to Alice as she's knocked out and incapacitated,
Absolutely.
should lock him up in prison. This guy is awful. He's not a protagonist.
Yeah, literally he's the least liked for me main guy that I felt like I was supposed to like, but the gulf
don't think
between
you're
my
supposed to like him.
expectation. Well, then good because they
Success.
did their job. Success.
And I'm
Awful,
sure he
awful
grows.
person.
I'm sure he turns into
It doesn't
a better
matter
person.
though.
Yeah.
Titus would never. And I hate calling him Titus.
I don't call him that. And also, not even close to the best protagonist in Final Fantasy.
I didn't say he was the best protagonist, but he is this light, cheery, opposite even of like
Sure.
Cloud and Squall. They wanted to give us this like happy-go-lucky guy, very different from Yuri. Yuri is a creep. All right.
I've complained a little bit about the tone. I'll probably complain a little bit more about it because just the whole like horror, like evil themes thing isn't my general preference. I will say though that alt history kind of approach to storytelling of sort of real world locations that we know, some intersections with actual real world events. It kind of even ends on that note in some kind of fun ways is actually a super, super, super fun way of doing storytelling. Give me more of that. That's a great concept.
Yeah, I like it too. And that's why I pointed out, I don't think it's done often, especially in this genre. Maybe it's definitely done in like shmups and stuff, like you're literally in the army in those games. But I think it's interesting, and I think you can do some fun stuff with that too. And since we kind of brought it here, the story, the intro is a good representation of what you're getting with this game. The story stays on par with that. Horror themed, dark, tonally, the subject matter, dark. Not as dark as some of the games we played, but more on the silly side, I would say. But like, it's still very, very story heavy and story centric. Because
for those of you who aren't following how dark we mean, I mean the first chapter-ish of this game, you're meeting children who are cannibals and want to eat you. Dark.
I mean, and that's just a sliver of all that this game has to offer. Like, it gets darker and darker. The monsters are so grotesque. In fact, I mentioned it earlier, but it reminded me of the monsters in Baroque from playing that game.
Yep.
Like, it's these abominations that you're facing.
It's Final Fantasy mixed with a Silent Hill or maybe even a Resident Evil. Like, that's kind of what they're going for, which for me, I mean, Kenny's complaining.
Right, you like that.
I know
theming.
they do. It's I know it's more in your like enjoy. You like the Resident Evils and all of those. It does take a little bit more of a Lovecraftian version of this sort of dark tale than some of them. And I think, and I don't know these IPs, but there's also some sort of Japanese-centric sort of versions of animes and some content that was released that also kind of has more that vibe that was more the inspiration here. So you don't have a little bit more sort of chaotic, sort of otherworldly, monstrous version of these evil things rather than just like, I don't know what we would think of. Yeah, you have like Sword and Board for like fantasy, and I feel like you have like a standard trope evil, of like a cult or witches or whatever. And this one has lots of that, but also brings in this whole sort of other flavor that at least is a little different for the genre. I don't know. None of that works for me, so I don't know why I'm making it sound like a justification.
The gothic tone and all that does carry into every aspect, so including the gameplay. And one of the main things to note about this game is the combat system. In 2001, everyone was like, oh, this game has the best combat system, and Final Fantasy, you're always looking at Final Fantasy to see what kind of combat system they're doing. This one is not super unique in that sense, but there is one mechanic that they build everything around in the combat that I really, really enjoy, called the Judgment Ring, which is this timing mechanic. When you go to attack, a ring comes up on the screen, and it's a looks like a clock, kind of. It's like a circular thing, and a hand is moving on it, and you time your inputs. And if you hit them close to it, kind of like a rhythm game, if you hit it close to where the marker is, you get like a great, and you'll do more damage. If you hit kind of close to it, it's a good, and you can miss as well. So adding active things to combat, to a turn-based combat system, is always good. I really enjoy that, and I like it here. And I think it works. They do it in pretty much every aspect of the combat. So it's very much the centerpiece to Shadow Heart's combat system.
Yeah. Go ahead, Dustin.
I'm surprised that you liked it, because in the first play, and it was your very first experience with it, so I think for most people, you're going to be like, this is going to take some getting used to, which I think you even said. But it seems like you got used to it, and because in the first play, you weren't enjoying it.
Yeah, some of the, especially in the intro, some of the markers are hard to see. The wheel is not facing you. It's tilted in a weird angle, and the coloring can be hard to see. So like the zones where you want to hit it can be hard to see. But I eventually got what they were going for, and some of them are a lot more obvious. But I got used to it. I like it.
The little slivers on the cone area that you do want to hit, because for most of these, and maybe there's more, but for most of these, there's 3 different cones, with 3 different slivers, and they're in different formations and sizes based on the character that is attacking and what they're doing and the different moves.
They measure difficulty with it in some ways. Like that's the progression.
Oh, sure. And if you hit the sliver, is that like a critical, or is it just increased damage, more hits? What? How does that play out?
Yeah, I from my understanding, it is just more damage.
Damage.
So, just flat.
And you can hit like in 2 cones and miss a third, and you're still going to do some hits, just not as many hits as you would do if you get all 3 of them.
Yeah,
right.
I think the concept here is kind of interesting. I wish they'd taken it even a step further than maybe they did, and maybe further in the game. The progression of what exactly happens is interesting. I do like that it ties in lots of different ways. So you can, have like items or upgrades that actually sort of change the shape of your judgment ring. Kind of the width of the areas you have to shoot for, and so they kind of integrate it into a lot of the gameplay in really interesting ways. So I don't know. It was a kind of cool mechanic. Better than some we've seen. Still fairly straightforward. Once you get it, you kind of get it. I wish there was a little bit more depth there, more of a system. But I didn't hate it.
I just liked it when back then they would try more than just a menuing system.
Yeah.
And it's not groundbreaking. It's not the best system ever, but it is something to do in the middle of combat that I think is fun.
I don't know if y'all remember Legend of Dragoon, one of my favorite games from the past, also had some kind of active combat system. I mean, E33 also has an active combat system. There's something to be said about these kind of turn-based games that are turn-based combat that have a little something. I don't know if the Judgment Ring, whatever, is my favorite implementation of it. Yeah, but I don't hate it either. I was getting used to it by the week's end.
Another major.
The fusion monster, is that where we're
going that's
now?
where I'm going. That's the other major piece here, and we said they confuse with demons, and we are going to go back to that. You come across demons and significant ones that you fight across the story, and you acquire them, and you can equip up to 3 demons and fuse with them mid-combat using SP, which is a resource, kind of like MP, and
Yes.
use their abilities as well.
For clarity, SP stands for sanity points because your character is literally going insane by using this stuff, which works thematically. And if you do let yourself run out of sanity points, your character goes berserk, you lose all control of them, and that's obviously a pretty bad thing.
So
And
the demons
that-
are pretty strong, but you have to be careful. You don't want to do too much.
It's actually ticking down with every action you take, even if you're not in your fusion mode. But it's set up like a JRPG turn-based battle where you have attack, fusion, item, and defend. You know what attack, item, and defend are, but the fusion allows you to turn into one of those up to 3, I guess you said, Nolan, equipped monsters.
Yeah.
You get more in the course of the game, but
Sure.
you can only equip a
3
certain
of
amount
them
at a time.
that are choosable. Yeah, you choose which
Gotcha.
ones you want to have.
But they are beasts, these grotesque beasts. By the way, I looked into it a little bit. This wasn't originally a part of Yuri's kit, but the director loved the art that was being sent to him from like for the game and for the enemies, that he's like, I want this to be a playable character. So that's why they put it into that
I respect
story.
it. That's cool.
But Yuri starts actually with a demon, Death Emperor, I think is the one that he starts with. And by the way, each of these, which is a whole nother thing, are connected to a certain element. You've got dark, light, earth, water, fire, and wind. And I think you only get one like kind of monster per throughout the game, and different evolutions of that. But you start with Death Emperor, a dark demon, winged demon, that has a few different abilities, which, by the way, this is kind of just a way of doing classes, in my opinion, because each of these monsters kind of had their own thing going for them. So, like this Death Emperor, he drains enemy MP and raises attack power. Okay, so that's that kind of unique thing. Raging Tiger is the next one you get, which is an earth thing. But it's actually, he kind of functions as like a white mage. He restores HP, raises defense. And so they all have an attack that they do as well. But to be honest, while I like it, I wasn't going into it much because, 1, I didn't want to deplete my sanity, and then 2, I found that just nailing the attack with normal Yuri did just about as much damage as doing it with the morphed version.
Yeah, that was disappointing to see. There are much stronger moves, though, in demon form, but you're going to have to try them out. But your auto attack, or your main attack, I shouldn't say auto, is quite strong in the early game at least. But yeah,
if you're nailing
if you're hitting,
yeah.
And it's disappointing because you are spending those sanity points, which is a timer essentially on the battle. And I think it's good. I like that system. It's just, I don't know, I want to pop off.
Well, on top of that, your character is spending sanity points just by default. Your special moves also will cost you magic points as well. And most of the really good moves, it's a little bit frustrating. You take a turn to fuse, and then you take like 1 turn to do a really big expensive move, and it looks awesome, and you're like, this is sweet. And then you're like out of juice. And you're like, I did all of that for just like one kind of moment of payoff, when instead, like Dustin said, you could have just smashed attack a few times and probably been as effective ultimately. Again, there's more there in it, and it grows over time. And I do think we should talk about, I know, Nolan, you said it was a sort of added feature. It's kind of interesting, I guess, from a story point of view, how they do he's got to like go into that graveyard that is his own mind and sort of like grapple with these things for the first time to kind of get control of them, so that then he's able to fuse with them. They want to make it a little bit more of a thing, and I think it threatens to be, but I just wish there was a little bit more there, a little bit more choice, a little bit more customization, something, because I feel like most people are either going to be Dustin and just never do it, or just every single turn just hit fusion and never get to play as your actual normal character, which is also sort of a kind of boring, brain dead approach. And so I just wish there was more thought and choice.
I like the implementation story-wise, as you are saying, Kenny, because I don't know if y'all actually noticed, but again, because it takes some time in the game, but as you're fighting enemies and you get your screen at the end, you get experience, you get gil or money, like you normally do.
Cash.
You're also getting these the elements are there and they're increasing as well. Once they are maxed out, you have to go back into your spiritual graveyard because a demon is about to get loose again, or that energy is there. I don't remember what they call it.
Malice.
Malice. Thank
yeah.
you. Malice has expanded, and so they when you go back into the graveyard, it is formed into a new form of a demon. You have to fight that demon, take control of the demons in your mind, and then you get to become that demon. So I like that implementation there, but as I've already said, I'm just bringing it around for full circle. I don't know if the implementation in the combat, and hey, probably it's a JRPG, 10, 15, 20 hours in, it probably feels a lot more natural to be using that and going there.
Sure.
But at least the first 5-ish hours, it doesn't feel as profitable. At least they start you with a demon. That's a nice thing.
Yeah, a cool looking one too. Did you guys enjoy the party? Because that is another crucial part of these games, and you can have 3 party members in combat. But outside of combat story, in combat, did you guys vibe with Alice and some of the other characters? Or because for me, when I play a JRPG, that's a huge component for me. I really like the the way the characters interact with each other and the whole adventure they're on together and the different struggles they have, and if they even have a side quest or something. So what do you guys think about those characters?
At least early on, Alice is pretty boring. I know, again, there's a lot of evolution there. The fact
Is
that
Alice the girl on the cover for Koudelka?
I don't know.
I
feel like
so.
that's her.
It might
Okay.
be, but I
No,
don't know if we know. But I don't know.
I mean, isn't Koudelka the girl in Koudelka?
Oh,
I don't
go back and
maybe.
watch the episode.
Yeah.
I don't know.
yeah, we
Listen
did
to
a
the episode.
podcast episode about it.
Regardless, she's a little boring. She heals. Her fighting is kind of worthless. She's got a little bit of a buff
very
she
low
can
sanity.
throw on you. Yeah, it just doesn't do a lot. And then you meet Zinzu or whoever he is, and sure,
Susan.
fun Asian mystic with the whole yin yang thing. It just, I think because fusion is fairly unique and the Judgment Ring is fine, but the rest of the characters don't get something as uniquely interesting as your main character. I wasn't as excited about having party play. And again, that grows. You have a much bigger cast throughout the game, but 3 at a time.
No, Nolan. No, they
Yeah.
they are. I'm not even talking about combat wise, although that is some of it. But at the same time,
Just the
Alice
writing.
is smacking people with her Bible, so you can't get much cooler than that. I love
Yeah.
that sort of the spirit, but the characterizations of these characters are just lackluster. They're not really inspired. They're kind of each of them are one-dimensional. They have one personality trait. And again, please hear me. 10 hours in, 20 hours in, I'm sure there's character growth, but they're kind of all ringing one bell each, and it's discordant. I don't know if I hit that word.
I agree.
I agree with you.
Ooh.
For me, it's enough to be in this dark setting and around the ludicrous demon stuff and everything to drive it, which is unusual because I do usually care about the characters and their stories and stuff. And again, I'm not 20 hours in and longer. I'm sure this game's much longer, and it probably gets really good. It's on those lists that I said for a reason, but I'm not convinced yet that it's because the characters are interesting.
I also struggled this week, and you guys can tell me if you were here as well. Maybe it was just me. Maybe it's just me in 2025. I don't know. Pacing here felt very slow. It's not an especially quick game. Takes its time. Some of the interactions between areas when you have control of the characters just is really sort of plodding along, and I feel like they could use a good reader's digestification of this game.
I don't know. I'm okay with a little bit slower. Like, you're setting up a story, there's dialogue. That's a part of JRPGs. I understand you just mashed through the text, Kenny, but
No, I want it, but I want it differently
Quickly?
than Icebergian.
well, what I will say that is in alignment with what you're saying, I think, is that it just felt that there wasn't much of an onus. I don't know if that, like, it felt like just they were stumbling into the next area without really any plan, and then the next area without any real plan, and it goes bad, and so they go to the next area. There wasn't too much of a through line, and that's the story they're telling. Like, it's a mystery. You kind of don't know what's going on, and so that slowly reveals. So that part, I would say, but the pacing of, like, a little bit of combat and then some dialogue and story and then a little bit of combat, that's kind of how some of these are, and so I don't mind it as much.
Aged.
This era has a very distinct look. This is certainly not the only game to do it, but you get all of these pre-rendered backgrounds that you walk around in. I don't think if you hold this game and its look up to any of the other games that came out in the same year that you're going to be super impressed by this one. But it's also not completely terrible, although it is just sort of dark, and they also translate that into the look of the game. And I know they need to, Nolan. I'm not trying to say you shouldn't, but visually, when you're trying to sell dark and brooding and evil, you're just going to be using a lot of browns and grays and smears of blood that don't actually look like blood because, like, whatever, and they're all over the ground. Or it's a fine looking game. It didn't blow me away.
Okay, let's be fair here.
I was
These
very
primary-
fair.
No. What? It doesn't look like freaking the unicorn level from Diablo 3, so you're mad? It's too dark.
Mean,
That's exactly what he was
that
saying.
is not my bar, but
Okay, the pre-rendered backgrounds I was very pleased to see in this game. I love them. I always enjoy them. And to see a game that is not a Square Enix, not a Final Fantasy game, do it, I was happy to see how they approach it. It's not on that level as their artwork usually is in these games, especially in 10 if we're going to compare the same console game. But I think on the tone side, it's spot on for what they're going for. Again, we're in an alternate version of our world in 1913, and so you have like phonographs and just different things of that time in these backgrounds, in the interiors and stuff. And then you have the like dark graveyard look outside, and I just really liked being in these spaces. I thought it looked really good.
I think, generally speaking, pre-rendered backgrounds are peak. The artistry that goes into them, I would take them any day over 3D fully realized environments. Although there's
Okay.
plenty that are great there, but there was something about the craft and the artistry that would go into these backgrounds that were so phenomenal. Obviously, Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VIII did it really well. I think Koudelka, honestly, probably did
really?
it a little bit better than this one. I looked this week to kind of contrast and compare. But this is good. It isn't the best of, when you're comparing it to some of these, but there's just something charming about these fully realized, they have so much depth, but they're not,
Yeah.
backgrounds. I don't know. They are drab in color. It's going with a theme. Some of it's muted and muddy. I think maybe you even kind of use some of those words, Kenny. But I still really, I'm glad they went that direction rather
Yeah.
than trying to do some kind of 3D
Same.
thing.
I don't know.
I think it looks good.
the real color theory children's hospital thing going on that just I can't get behind at all altogether, and so nah. But
Who wants
it's
unicorns?
no, not even that. Just like anything else.
I am not opposed to it, but it is interesting that this game didn't really have much voice acting. You got some up front, and you get a little bit scattered throughout, but the majority of it, you're just reading text with your eyes. It's just interesting because Final Fantasy X released at the same time and had tons of voice acting.
Right. This
So-
is PS2. Like they
Yeah.
could have included that. They had room to do it if they decided they wanted to.
Like I said,
But
I'm
they
not
didn't.
opposed to it. Yeah, I mean,
Because, like, I think I saw on Discord, maybe Garlisle or someone who knows what they're talking about was talking about who did the voice acting in those brief sections.
oh,
And it was like people that were doing a lot of work at this time. So maybe some of the same actors were in some of the Final Fantasies or games you might know. I thought it was kind of bad, the delivery of some of those lines at the beginning, personally. So
Yeah.
to have a whole game of that might have been a little off-putting to me. But because it wasn't, I'm not going to fault them. Yes, they could have done it. It's PS2. But, like, I don't need that. I don't have to have that. Especially
Yeah,
if it's not good.
I'm certainly fine reading for sure. I've mentioned it before. We've kind of talked about it with graphics already, but just for me, I just don't love, and we don't have to stay here, but I just don't love Lovecraftian horror vibes. It's just not my favorite, and so that muddies the water and the graphics.
Sure.
It's just not my favorite.
The music also tried to go there a little bit. I will say we talked a
for
lot
a
at
lot
the
of it.
beginning of like, do you remember Koudelka? And I said, no, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't. And then there would be moments in this music where it was playing, and I went, I've heard that before, or maybe not that, but like this reminds me of something we've played, and I'm pretty sure this music is fairly inspired by and pulls from some of the themes and motifs and stuff they do in Koudelka in the first one.
I'm sure.
And so because of that, I kind of remembered it. Again, very early 2000s, and so I feel like it's one of those things that's a little bit of a stronger voice and a little bit more unique musically, so I think it will work for some people, won't work for some people. For the kind of game that it is, I feel like it does what it's supposed to do here. So no like major complaints. I think some of it is actually pretty well done. Again, not my favorite like feels that they're trying to convey, so I'm like, still whatever, but like executed fairly well.
Yeah. I agree.
I also liked the music and thought that it was executed well. I don't like the battle theme. It's got this vocal like thing.
You don't like that?
Keeps happening over and over. And
yeah.
it's not,
I vibed with that. I like
There was some other repetitious stuff too. They'd have some of the backgroundy noises, like a weird dog bark or a person yell or something that happened a little too frequently, a little too much like in pace, and kind of drove me crazy.
But they're setting that tone.
But still, yeah.
Yeah. Overall, I was pleased with it. I hadn't heard any of the tracks. Like none of them have snuck into compilations that I've heard, which is, it's not a problem. It just goes to speak of
just
how
telling.
good the other stuff is. And maybe it's a little telling that the soundtrack's not like the best.
It's maybe
But
a compilation. It's a compilation you'd listen to like 1 or 2 weeks
If
a
you're
year.
dying.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of spooky season. So like if
Sure,
you were gonna put
yeah.
on a like dark and brooding soundtrack for Halloween or whatever, maybe this would make the cut. But it's not something you're gonna play just to your morning workout time or something. Like it's not getting you pumped up. Hopefully,
Speak for yourself, bro.
as
Battle my
mentioned,
demons.
Shadow Hearts is the first in its series. So Koudelka was the prequel in 1999, followed by this trilogy: Shadow Hearts, Shadow Hearts Covenant, and Shadow Hearts From the New World. That last one was released in 2005. So the series, as far as we know, is complete. It is done. It is there
Heard
for
the
you to
second
play.
one's the best.
Oh, I have heard that as well. If you want a copy for your PlayStation 2 of Shadow Hearts, it's going to run you $90 loose, $129 complete in box, and $251 new.
Not bad. Okay, not bad.
For who?
$250 for a brand new copy.
This guy's balling over here.
Final thoughts.
At the end of each and every episode, we determine whether or not the game gets our vote for New Game Plus status, which is our general thumbs up or thumbs down. It does require 2/3 of the vote to swing one way or the other. Kenny, what are your thoughts on Koudelka's sequel?
Yeah, I think where I've landed has been pretty obvious up to this point, so I will just lean into brevity. This one is not my cup of tea leaves. No New Game Plus.
Wow, short and sweet.
That's the shortest you've ever done on an NGP. That must mean you hate this game.
Also the joke, but yes.
Tea leaves. Nolan?
I like this game. I like the tone. I like the vibe. And I guess that's I guess I'm in the minority in that. It gives me some of the same impressions as a Silent Hill and as a Resident Evil, which I think are the best series on the PlayStation 2, besides Final Fantasy and all that. Come on. So when you merge the two, I think that's really interesting. So this game was really fun for me, and it is one that I played it on my Steam Deck, and it will remain on my Steam Deck on the recently played, because I do want to continue playing this. This will be one that I'll pick up later to continue. I've done that with a few RPGs in the past that we've played, and I want to continue this one. And my time with it, I really enjoyed. So I give it a game plus. I don't have a lot to complain about with this game. That's what it came down to when I was thinking about this. There's a lot I like, not perfectly implemented, not perfectly executed, but not a problem. And if anything, it might be the writing of the characters that I would take issue with. But everything else about the game is drawing me back in. So I think this might be a sleeper hit for me if I continue to play it through. So NGP.
That's one yes, one no. I find myself somewhere in the middle, to be honest with you. I didn't hate anything this week. I don't think anything was done with this game too terribly wrong. But nothing was fully pulling me in. Here is one of the downsides to the format of New Game Plus. And listen, we're 10 years old. We're not changing it at this point in time. But I think if I would have had more time with the game, so more than just a week's time, which is the very nature of our episode, that the game would have slowly grown on me. But I still don't know if it would have gotten to the point where I'm recommending it to everybody, unless it really just pulls this little twist, and games can do that. There are some good things here. I think there will be a subset of people that really like this game, especially people that lend towards Lovecraftian horror. And retro gaming. I think those two things merge well here. I think there's some interesting combat mechanics. I think the story is going somewhere, although I don't know where. But the subpar characterization, the incomplete, it feels like morphing the monster system there. Incomplete might not be the right word, but those few things, I don't know. It just wasn't pulling me in. I think it's a fine game. Some people will really like it. I thought it was okay. Wish that I had more time with it. But it's not a game that I would recommend to everybody, and I don't give it my vote for New Game Plus status.
That feels wrong.
I don't know if it does.
I honestly think if you even took out the taste theme things that are a big part of my overt dislike, and you strip this game just down to mechanics, I still couldn't quite get there. I think I'd be in Dustin's same exact shoes.
Skill issue.
Well, you can't just say skill issue.
I can say whatever.
I mean, he can say it, but it doesn't mean it means anything.
Well, Shadow Hearts is not New Game Plus certified, but what did you think? On our YouTube poll, 24% said yes, it's worth playing today. 2% said no, go play something else. Only 2%, Kenny.
Wow.
73% have never played it before.
That's exactly what I would have expected. No one's
not
heard of this game.
all what I would have expected.
Right. They're playing
10.
They're
They were
playing
playing 10.
Final Fantasy X, bro.
No
Some
question.
from our community played along with us this week, wrote in their thoughts on the retro game of the week. Joe Pacoira said, certainly a unique experience, terribly overshadowed by Final Fantasy X at release, but JRPG diehards and fans of the occult vibes really can find a hidden gem here. The
Yeah,
writing is
for sure.
colorful and the plot thickens a lot after the first half. NGP from me, but I understand if it is too slow or too much for some people.
That's
Yes,
exactly right.
and yes.
This will be, for people like me, amazing. Hidden gem. How did I not know this existed? For everyone else that doesn't really vibe with that, then they'll be like, no.
Right, but it'll only be that after you get past the first half. So just
in his
play
opinion,
20 hours.
I mean, you had to do that with these games.
Yeah,
The beginning of 10 is not amazing.
Wrong?
It's not.
Wrong?
It's fine.
Patently
It gets
wrong?
amazing.
Yeah,
2
I
hours in.
can think of other RPGs that start on a train that I would rather play from the first minute.
Dagony said, I really enjoyed Koudelka. Well, you played the wrong game this week, Dagony. It was what? Laugh out loud so they can hear you on
No,
the
it's
mic.
funny.
It wasn't that
I
funny.
chuckled. I chuckled.
It was one of those ingenuitive style games that tried different things. That being said, I did not really enjoy Shadow Hearts. I felt they didn't try hard enough to make a good sequel, and the characters were cringe at times. I think with the PS2, they could have done a better job with all the other RPGs that were coming out and that were already out. This game fell short in many ways. I do, however, enjoy the soundtrack, but that is not enough for me to give it NGP, so I would go play Final Fantasy X if you're looking for a
Stop
PS2
it.
RPG. Everybody's bringing
Everybody's
up Final
played
Fantasy
it.
X.
Everybody's already
I'm
played
not.
it.
It doesn't matter. I'm still in the same boat. Same boat.
I am going to finish Hades 2 and spite finish this game
Just to
because
prove everybody
everybody.
wrong.
Yeah.
And then Shane said it's really just a pretty bog standard JRPG with molasses animations that kind of get old before too long. There's not really any gameplay hook in here for me. The Judgment Ring makes it maybe a little bit better, but not enough. And where the story would normally make up for that in these sorts of games, it doesn't seem to grab me as much in these first 2 or so hours. Perhaps it gets better later. Character-wise, Yuri is kind of a creep, perhaps leaves room for improvement across the game, but definitely not a good first impression. Alice just seems pretty bland overall, and the shaman guy also didn't stand out as much, but at least seemed to be more dialed into the plot. Ultimately, this seemed like a fine late PS1, early PS2 JRPG, but nothing really stands out, and I certainly wouldn't recommend it.
Well, okay, let me say this. What would y'all think if they killed off Yuri?
Yes.
And you thought, oh, that's the main character, and they kill him off because he's awful, and they replace him with a good character.
With Roger Bacon.
No, he's a bad guy.
Oh, okay.
The top hat.
You know that Sack of Nuts, the development team here, thought
You idiot.
when Final Fantasy X came out right after theirs, they were like, "What have we done?" Like they if they would have released this at a different time, it might have worked. But I mean,
4 years
because-
earlier.
No, look at any year on the PS2, early 2000s, and you're competing
screwed.
with giants. You're screwed. So no, it's
PS2
Is what it
for
is.
the win. We are going to set aside Shadow Hearts. Thank you for your commentary. You can send us your thoughts on the retro game of the week each and every week to ngppodcast@gmail.com or hop into our commentary channel. We'd love to feature your thoughts as a part of next week's episode. For now, we're going to set aside Shadow Hearts, and we are not going to randomly select from our retro master list because it is time for a Patreon poll!
dang. You put your whole sack of nuts in.
I mean, it is one of the biggest Patreon pools we've ever done.
Yeah.
It is the final game that is being selected from Season 9. It'll be our first game played
Right.
in Season 10. We are playing this for 2 weeks in a row due to next week's Episode 500 anniversary episode. Stats by Shane.
That's by Shane.
PS2, 34 entries. GameCube, 25 entries. PS1, 19 entries. Those are the top 3.
Okay, that's par for the course.
We've got some thematically appropriate games this week that aren't going to take us
Oh,
too far away
no.
from Shadow Hearts.
I'm down. I'm listening.
Don't be too oh no, Kenny, because the most submitted game was Luigi's Mansion.
Oh,
I love that.
yes.
Have y'all played that?
Nope.
Y'all would love that game. Okay, anyways.
Then Aria of Sorrow followed up. Yep.
Okay. Yep.
Followed up by Naughty Bear, Silent Hill 2, Gladius, and Okami.
Okay. I like how the list started better than where it went, but
Yeah.
I
I
could
think
put
we're
up with
gonna
most
play
of
a good
this.
game.
Yeah.
I feel good.
A few other games that were submitted from just a random smattering of individuals. JCDC 9000 submitted Super Mario Bros. 3.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Brojum submitted Alan Wake.
Never played it.
Can't believe that's
I
available.
would say, is that old? I guess it is.
I really pray to the gods that this next game is submitted because Kenny's got the first play this week. Hot Tamales submitted Amnesia: The Dark Descent. Nolan,
Ooh, no, thank you.
That game's eligible. I'm going to jump out of my second story window.
you can't do that. But
I
wouldn't you
literally
like to
played that-
watch Kenny play that game?
Yes, I would love that.
I will say
But-
that I played that on my stream. Do you remember that I streamed like in the earliest days of Twitch? I don't even want to talk about it.
No, you were. I
Kenny
wish you
came
still
on with
did.
me one time to do an RPG segment. All right, like
That
a
clip's still
tabletop.
live, by the way. I have it.
Okay, and then Garlisle submitted Bayonetta. We've got a lot of games in here. We're going to randomly select
Again.
from your listener, patron submitted games.
I'm normally so
Hopefully-
excited. I'm actually so scared this time.
You're scared.
Yeah.
Oh,
Good.
season 10. Here we go.
Randomizing now. Kenny,
Yeah.
for the next
Oh,
7
God.
for the next
No.
7 plus 7 days,
Don't do this to me.
No way.
we are going to be playing an action adventure game
Okay, that could be Amnesia.
that was released in 2001.
It can't be
No.
Amnesia.
It was
It's not Amnesia, Kenny.
It was a launch title.
Okay.
For the PS2.
Okay.
For the
GameCube.
GameCube.
I
Oh.
said GameCube.
Okay.
You did. You said GameCube.
You
His
heard it.
hands are slowly moving away.
Wait, it can only be one thing, dummies.
That's not true.
Yeah, it's true.
For the first time, maybe ever, or at least in a very long time, the Patreon pool or randomizer, I guess, has worked in the favor of those who have band together to
That
submit
never, ever
a game.
happens.
It never happens. It's always one submission by one individual.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a
Mavs
rando.
has
Like, literally
finally
this year's
won.
This
This
year's
is-
Patreon poll
Yeah.
was just randos.
Yeah. This is a great way, maybe, to start season 10 of New Game Plus for the next 14 days together. All 10,000 of us. We are going to be playing one game together. It is the first game in the franchise to be released for the console. It is the third video game to feature this main character instead of the other main character. And players control this character as he explores a haunted mansion to rescue Mario and battle ghosts by capturing them through a vacuum cleaner. We are playing Luigi's Mansion.
So fun. I don't think
And,
I've ever played the first one, like the original.
Guys, but you have played one? Like
I've played
I don't know,
I played
games?
the recent one, the one on
3DS?
no,
Or
on
Switch?
Switch. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm very excited for you guys to play. It's kind of so different than any Mario game you've played.
Question.
Yeah.
Is it like Wallace and Gromit and the Curse of the Were-Rabbit?
It is like that game,
It
but
is
it's
a little
actually
bit.
good.
Are we playing two suck-em-up games in
It's
just a matter
like
of a few
that
weeks?
game, actually. I won't lie to you, but it's better.
Hey, guys, to conclude Season 9 and to start Season 10, find a copy of Luigi's Mansion and play it along with us for the next 14 days.
Join us in Discord as well. Go to discord.gg/ngp podcast.
And go to patreon.com to show your support for your favorite retro gaming podcast that has bringing you weekly retro gaming content every single week for the last 10 years.
For the last 10 years.
Straight.
Strong.
We can say that now. Thank you to those of you who already have made it over and are showing us your support on a weekly basis. There's many of you, and we have a few of you to get caught up on our latest list. Thank you over the last couple of weeks, those of you who have jumped on the bandwagon while prices have been cheap and while we've been celebrating in a really special kind of way. We're so appreciative. So
And
bear with
once
me.
once y'all all leave in just a couple of weeks, we'll be poor again. So thank you for being here with us for a week or so.
Yeah.
We'll take it. So to our newest patrons this week, we've got Braden, Jordan, Austin, Andrew,
What?
Ragnarok 90, Joseph, Shoebox Games, Artemis Chuck coming in as
That's
a
Paul.
producer, Band Nerd
Paul.
coming in as a producer, Fabian, that's Fabian, coming in as a producer, and Infinite Knife coming in as a director level supporter. So thank you for your
Oh,
support.
don't do that, Dustin.
Yeah, I don't know if that's what we want to say.
Hey, that's a lot of people.
To our current director level supporters, Brojim, Sasser, Tins, and Siegfried. You are the Luigi in our mansion. And to our mini producer level supporters as well. One breath. We're so thankful for all of you, including Alex, Marlene, Antonin, Ben, Champagne, Vinaigrette, Craig, Dagny, Flombus, Garlisle, Alex, Harold, Hey Brother, J. Robert, Jake, Justin, Caldaka, Clint, Lapidus, Landris, Levi, Maximum, Megatron, Miss Muso, Mystic, Not Enough, Dog, Red, Max, Agent, Scotty, Shane, Shauna, Snigmatic, Spinning the Jet, Super Hyper, Swaggy, Taco, Fish, Psycho, Manus, Thomas, Tibbs, Tim of the T, Unbelievable, Zachary, Zion, and I could still keep going even longer. Thanks
So
for
we need
all
more
of
people.
your... So we need more people. Until I
Dang,
run
Kenny,
out
that was
of
pretty good.
breath, you guys have no excuse for supporting the show. Seriously, so grateful for all of you. Your best community in retro gaming, and your support means the world to us. So thank you so much.
You can follow us on our social media, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. Links are in the show notes. Listen directly on any podcast provider of your choice. Make sure you subscribe so that you are the first to get new NGP episodes. And while you're at it, please leave a kind rating and review. Our episode artwork was created by our friend Dave. Our video episode was edited by our friend Dylan. Our audio episode was edited and produced by our friend Dan Willett. Join us next week as we play Luigi's Mansion. Until then, I'm still a demon.
I'm still yawning for some reason.
Roger Bacon.
And this has been New Game Plus.